Serious. People who cheated on their so, why did you do it? Story 1. As a guy who has cheated in the past, let me offer some advice. Post-nut clarity is a real thing. Whenever you're feeling frisky and you want to reach out and cheat on your spouse, masturbate. If you really love your spouse, that post-nut clarity will kick in immediately and you will be relieved you didn't cheat. If not, then you're with the wrong one. Edit. To the people who claim they never in the history of anything think about sex with a person not their spouse, you're not fooling anyone. Reply. So basically, whenever you start to consider cheating on your partner, give it a test wank first. OP reply. Essentially yes. Reply. Is it possible to reach this levels of wisdom? Story 2. Forgive me, I am on mobile. I know this will not make sense, but just know this is what I thought at the time and I know it wasn't right. I offer no excuses, only my reasoning, however dumb it was. I was young, 18 actually, too fresh out of foster care with a plethora of issues ranging from abandonment to depression. I didn't recognize his love language. I didn't understand that he did love me. I didn't feel it. I couldn't. But I loved him so much. So much that even at 18 I knew I would love him forever, and it scared me. I thought I was thinking rationally when I told myself, this is your first relationship. What are the odds it lasts forever? I tried telling myself it was just infatuation and whatever because I was only 18. And my feelings for him only grew stronger. I only ever felt reassured of my love for him. When he was at work and would come home to me, I would be so overcome with joy. God, I missed him so much. I would wake up at 9 a.m. and would say, okay, only 6 more hours till he is off work and 15 more minutes till he's home. What do I do? It's kinda cringy now. I'd clean the place and cook and then shower and just wait. And when he would come home, he wouldn't be as excited to see me as I was to see him. He wouldn't want to tell me about his day, he'd want to jump on the game with his friends and to me. I was being rejected. Sure, we had our time together watching anime and movies and whatnot on his off days. But I loved him so much and showed it in every way possible with gifts, words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch. Why wasn't he doing the same? So I convinced myself in my head that I would lose him if I smothered him. I need to chill. I'm too emotional, I'm all over him. If I chill out, then maybe I won't push him away. I felt I was doing that. Like he was getting bored with me. I had no hobbies, not really close with my bio family, never made a connection with foster parents. I had one friend, and I use the term loosely because she was actually very toxic and problematic, but she was a crutch for me in those times. So what do? I'll use all these extra lovey-dovey feelings on someone else, and that way I get them out of my system so I won't need to use them all on him. This'll work, right? I worked with a guy who I knew had feelings for me, and I used him to talk to when I missed my BF. I would text him so I didn't message my BF. I would ask him about his day so I didn't ask my BF. Just a bunch of dumb shit that was wrong. I was never remotely interested. There was never anything physical or emotional on my end. I know that doesn't matter, but I am just saying, I never outwardly flirted per se. One day my BF asked to use my phone, and before I gave it to him I deleted this guy's thread. His number was never saved in my phone. Right before I deleted the messages, the coworker asked me what I was doing. I had just got home from work and I said, I'm about to shower WBU? Then I deleted the texts. While BF had my phone, the guy wrote back and said, images of you in the shower just popped in my head. BF saw the message and 2 days later ended things with me. I have been kicking myself and hating myself every day for the past 7 years, 1 month and 16 days since. Now that I'm older, I understand exactly why I was wrong. How incredibly immature and stupid it was. I also realized that men show their love differently, and it hit me like a ton of bricks later on in life. I didn't realize how stressed he may have been paying the bills for 2 while barely making over minimum wage, USA, and video games was his outlet. I didn't realize that he didn't take me out often because he probably couldn't afford it, but he showed me in other ways. And I barely made anything, so I couldn't afford it. I didn't realize that one of his favorite things was laying in bed on the laptop with me next to him watching movies all night. That he'd call out not because he didn't want to go to work, but because he wanted to stay with me. Or because I had asked. I just didn't understand he showed me his love for me in other ways instead of verbally. We had our issues. We were not perfect. We were 2 young people trying to find our way, but he always seemed so well put together even at 22/23 that I thought he never went through anything. He didn't struggle emotionally or mentally. I was so wrong. I vowed, swore and everything else that I would always acknowledge someone's effort. That I'd never ever make someone feel like they weren't good enough. Even though he's never said that's what I did. That's what cheating does. It inflicts so much mental and emotional pain on someone. An ache they can probably never get past fully, and I carry that burden having done that to someone when I thought I was doing good. Again, stupid, I know. But this was my mindset back then. I'm lucky enough to still have this person in my life as a very good friend, and I thank the universe every day. He is still very much the love of my life. I never loved anyone before him or after him. I know they say once a cheater always a cheater, but I'd rather die alone a miserable and slow painful death before I ever put someone through that again. Please, for the love of God or whatever you believe in, don't do it. Update. I want to thank all of you for your advice and help with this. Some of you asked for an update, so I thought I'd share. I mentioned I would maybe tell him when he got back from his hiking trip, or maybe on my B-day where we already had plans. But I was chickening out. I figured, why ruin a good thing? Anyway, he got back and we hung out last Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday we were texting and stuff, and then a few hours later, out of nowhere, he just said, in summary, that our friendship was unhealthy and he didn't think we should continue it. Something about letting go of his grip on me. I can't tell you why. We didn't have a fight. He stayed over Tuesday night and left Wednesday. We talked about my B-day trip. It was out of nowhere, truly. So good thing I didn't come out and tell him all my feelings for him. And I guess he isn't wrong. If I have feelings for him and apparently he not for me, then it had to end. Guess it's really time to move on. Thank you all for your help. You all are amazing. Reply. I also realize that men show their love differently. Less that men show their love differently, but that he might have showed his love differently. In a future relationship, you can't expect the exact same expressions of love as a previous one. Plenty of men have ways of showing their emotions like you had been expecting, which is why communication is so important to better understand each other. The bigger mistake was not talking to him about your feelings of being inadequate and not feeling loved. OP reply. You are right. When I mentioned all those issues of mine, not communicating was one. I used to have panic attacks when opening my mouth. I'll spare you the details of why that is, but I remember for him I wanted to be better. I wanted to communicate and I would try. But sometimes he got this look, and I am not blaming him, this look that he was dreading everything I was saying. He didn't like talking about the relationship. Neither did I. I didn't know how to, but I tried. I know he would tell me about things I did that bothered him or upset him, and I know how it made me feel, so I didn't want to make him feel that same way. IDK, again a big overthinker here. I am much better at communicating now, though, I will tell you that. Won't make that mistake again. Story 3. I thought I could get away with it and I felt like it. Reply. Bro, I say this with as much compassion and concern as I can muster. I think you would benefit from some therapy. Your honesty is appreciated, but your replies, edit. As in every reply of yours in this thread, provide a very unnerving glimpse into your questionable philosophy on life. And you don't seem to see these things as right or wrong. You just treat them as if they were universal truths. Reply 2. Do you realize how many people have cheated and have this as the reason? It's depressingly common. Story 4. Because I was a fucking idiot and I chose to listen to someone that I thought I could trust instead of asking my girl if she was cheating on me. Reply. You live and learn, kiddo. Great to realize, cuz it's better late than never. Story 5. I'm not in any way defending what I did. I was in a relationship for 10 years, we got together when we were 16. I think the problem was that I grew up and he didn't. I wasn't the same person I was when I was 16 and we fell in love, but he was. By 26 I had grown professionally, mentally and emotionally, but he was stuck in the same mindset as a 16-year-old. I should have just left, broken up with him like an adult, but ending a decade-long relationship when it's all you've known is unbelievably scary. I didn't know what life without him was like. We had been together for my entire adult life. So I just stayed in the relationship knowing I didn't love him anymore. I met someone who I fell in love with over time while still in that relationship. I believed I was just friends with this new guy at the time, but looking back we were just dating while calling it friendship. During one of our regular, defiantly not a date, just two friends hanging out in a date-like setting, something in me clicked and I knew he was the person for me and we kissed. I broke up with my boyfriend the next day. I regret the way our relationship ended, but I'm not sorry it did end. Reply. Did you at least tell him you were losing interest in him because his lack of maturity? Don't know if I worded that right. It sounds like you were silent about it, hooked up with another guy and then abruptly ended it? Edit. Downvoting me for just asking a question. Is this not r/askreddit? I'm confused. OP reply. We had many discussions about it towards the end. It is possible I may not have communicated clearly enough that it was a relationship ending issue though. He definitely saw the breakup coming through my behavior as I was distant for the last few months and he had told me he felt me pulling away. Regardless of any of that though, I should have discussed the issues I had clearly with him and ended the relationship before hooking up with or spending time with anyone. There's no excusing that behavior. Story 6. I don't believe in, once a cheater always a cheater, all of the time. For some people, I believe it to be true. For others, well, it's a shitty thing to do. I'm not trying to excuse my behavior here, but sometimes there are reasons you can't possibly understand until you're faced with the very difficult decision yourself. I married young. Mistake number 1, depending on who you ask. Fair enough. After nearly a decade with my spouse, and having never before or since cheated, it happened. I feel like some people make the assumption that it's premeditated and done to be hurtful and spiteful. Maybe some will still see it that way after it's been explained, and that's fair and understandable, too. I told my partner that I was very unhappy in our relationship. It was the hardest conversation I've ever had to have with someone, to this day, to look at a person you once were so sure about and let them know you don't love them anymore. He shut me out, instantly, refusing to believe it. I dropped it, thinking, foolishly, perhaps, he was just so startled that he couldn't process it and I hurt him so badly. I felt horrid. Days went by, gave way into weeks and then months. I brought it up again because it had to be discussed, no matter how painful, or I knew it would only grow worse and worse. Each time, I tried to save the marriage. I pleaded for couples counseling and therapy sessions. I went solo, and worked through some shit of my own, and thought it would be enough. It wasn't. Again, I begged for him to do couples therapy as well. It doesn't have the highest success rate, but I did try. He wouldn't budge. Several times he told me that it was my own problem and since he didn't share my dissatisfaction, I had to figure it out alone. So much for being a mutual partnership. Thanks, my guy. This very hard and emotional conversation kept playing out for weeks, again. Finally, I tearfully went to my spouse and asked what it would take for him to understand I was trapped in a marriage that I no longer wanted to be a part of. He told me that he'd only agree to divorce me if I fucked someone else or killed someone he loved. So, I cheated. Even after he found out, he asked me to stay because he couldn't bear the mark it would have on his personal image to his family, friends, and colleagues. He legitimately told me that he would rather be in a loveless marriage where I was unhappy than to admit defeat. If anyone can tell me how that's better than cheating on someone, please, enlighten me. I'd love to hear it. I'd also like to add, wow, good God, if anyone actually read this, thank you. That we did not do things together. Like, ever. We were living as roommates for years. We shared a bed, but that was about it. When I would ask him to come out with me either as a date night or in a group of mutual friends, he would refuse. And if he told me to go out and enjoy something fun and I would, he'd make me feel bad the second I got home for not just staying home all night rotting in front of the TV. Sorry if I want to go bowling with friends, or see a movie, or have some kind of human interaction and connection. In retrospect, I was also very dumb for not sticking up for myself until the very end. I should have realized much earlier on that I needed more from a partner, like communication that wasn't just shallow TV talk, or quality time spent together. Happy to report now that I am in the best relationship of my life with a man I couldn't love anymore if I tried. He knows my past, but he knows it isn't what defines me as a person. Reply. That fact that he issued you an ultimatum just to own you disgusts me. Reply 2. Does time really make you lose interest in someone? I don't want to lose the love of my life over something I can't control. Subscribe.